Hello everyone, I'm Rob Smith at the Black Quant Edge VTF here, T3 Live with this week's market wrap-up. And starting off the new month, going to be interesting here. We got an inside day for the S&P Spider, and what that means is we couldn't take out yesterday's highs nor lows on a Friday. So coming in Monday morning, either side of this, the question is this corrective action, inside day back up and go gunning toward the highs? Or do we have these 2 down days, a rest day, and then continuation of the selling? Because we saw that QQQ get absolutely lumped for the last 2 days, and then today, just another rest day. So the question, we're going to continue this kind of stuff. And if you don't think the inside days are important, they certainly are. You can remember this semiconductor SMH, and this was absolutely gorgeous yesterday. Here, inside day off the top of the broadening formation here, just getting slammed all day long. And when you get these equilibrium breaks, it can be something. So once again, I make a more extensive video over the weekend if you want to watch it. Smith in the Black on YouTube, all one word. I tweeted out at Rob in the Black, and I think you can find that interesting. But for right now, we want to see what these inside days do. So the question here with semiconductors is it down, back and fill, and then more peaking, take it all the way back down here? Or is this just another one of those spiky things where we start rallying back? Because one of the interesting things, too, is like when we talk about time frame continuity, and what that means is that we want to know the opening of the month, the opening of the week, the opening of the day, and the opening of the 60, because that tells us what direction things are going in. And so since this occurred here right at the beginning of the month, although we got shellacked in the first 2 days, the question is, are we going to go back, take that month green, or are we going to continue lower and be down on the week, the day, the 60, and all that stuff, and have an actionable signal, which is going to be your inside day come Monday morning? If we go to the small cappers after the big run up, another inside day there. So is this just some back and fill after the big ripper, or was that all she wrote, and we go rest and start coming in? So that Monday morning is going to be real interesting there. So one of the reasons you want to know about when something is forming an inside bar, and that means later in the month, if something's still inside of the month, mid to late week, if something's still inside on the week, and anytime during the day, like today, if the S&P is going to stay inside, that's when something you do not want to be involved in, because it's consolidating. By definition, it's consolidating. It couldn't take out the highs or the lows. And so what that means, as time goes on and this inside bar equilibrium forms, it gets worse. And by that I mean, if you look at this 15-minute chart, hey, maybe you can make something in here, but guess what? You're not making it in here, right? It just gets worse and worse. And so a lot of people do themselves a disservice by not knowing something is still forming an inside bar on the week or the day or the month. And that's where you'll hear people start smashing keyboards and be like, this thing's whippy and choppy and I'm getting chewed up. I'm like, yes, because it is not trending, right? It is consolidating. So one of the things you can do is if you look at something during the week, like I said, Friday or Thursday or even Wednesday afternoon, and you can look at something, I don't know, something like an Apple right here, and you look at the weekly, is this thing really doing anything? Down a little bit, not much. It's nowhere near taking that out, doing nothing. Or you take a look at something like Palo Alto and you say, look at this thing's falling apart. This is something I want to be involved in. So we'll do that during the course of the month. When you get into the second week of the month, third week of the month, I want to make sure things got these signals, these long bars, because it tells me that they're moving. If it's a doji inside doing nothing, you can look at the daily and the intraday all you want. It's doing nothing, right? So the other thing we had this week was the Earl reversal, and got those oils going, right? Finally, you got outside week there for the XLE, XOP the same, OIH. And so the question is, can that strength continue? If we go to crude oil itself, you can see, although big rally, when people say, oh, it's gone too far too fast, you can see here on a weekly basis, there's still plenty of room. Still haven't taken this out. You haven't challenged that. So as big as a move percentage-wise as it is, still plenty of room when you look at something like, you look at the monthly. Barely doing anything, and monthly hammer here trying to come up. So, granted, most of that move happened at the end of last month, but we'll see how that goes. If we take a look at the trannies here, and trannies opened up. Remember, last month was good, and still the trannies here. Another inside day right near the highs. You go to the Dow Jones Diamonds. Inside day, but 2 days completely inside Wednesday's range. So the question is, are we finally topping out at least a little bit? We're going to find out come Monday morning. And so on Monday morning, what we're going to look for is called a simultaneous break. And what that means is when you have inside days in a huge congestion like the S&P and many sectors, do they all break in the same direction? And if they do, that's when you can get a big Monday move. But we're not always that fortunate. But we want to watch those come Monday morning because sometimes some will go up, some will go down, and that means we can expect nothing out of the S&P. But we certainly want to be aware if everything starts breaking in the same direction. So what do we do on when things are this tight? And I type it in the morning, tweet it out, hashtag mind the gap. We want to know that something's moving. And how do we know that? It's gapping. And so we had some real nice ones that I tweeted out this morning, and we can review that too. GIII. And here's how we look at this stuff, right? And there's if you come with me and trade with me during the day, we use multiple time frames, but these are just some of the examples of what we're going after stuff like today. So GIII, it gaps down, it comes up, it goes inside 5. So at this point, this is a momentum hammer. It's inside on the 5-minute, which means this is either a rest before going up, potential measured move, or it comes up and then repukes off of that. But that's not what happened. It goes inside 5, and this thing went to the moon. This thing took all this stuff out off the 5. It was absolutely gorgeous. BIG was on the list as well. And this is a little trickier if you've ever heard me talk about a rev strat or reversal strategy. What that is the inside bar equilibrium getting countered. And what that means is here it opens, it goes inside here on the 3-minute bar, right, and attempts to go 3 up to break the equilibrium. However, this equilibrium comes back down, forms shooting star, and fails, right? That means this equilibrium is being countered. So the reason that's important is because that we know that people put stops in obvious places. Here, here, and here. Ready? Try an attempt to the upside, fail. Ready? Take them out. Bam, bam, bam. Here, and you see here, when it goes down, it takes everybody out, and it pops back up. At that point, we know we're just taking a bunch of stops out. And then here, once this new bar opens and starts moving lower, that means the real sellers are back in there. Boom, opens on the high, opens on the high, opens on the high, and keeps puking for a nice gap in reverse there. Ulta Salon was absolutely gorgeous off of the list. And this is even late to show you that once they start going, you can still get in there. We had one of my boys getting in there up on an inside oneer here for $10. But then even if you miss that, once it got to the inside 5, even this inside 5 here, broke continuously down for another $4 or $5, and that was real nice too. So not everybody's going to trade the 5-minute and the 3-minute and the 1-minute. I know not everybody's cut out for that. And so we can still pull back and go to 60-minute charts, 30-minute charts during the day, finding those things that are in motion that I tweet out. Here, AMBA. So AMBA gaps down and then goes inside on the 60. So if this is going to attempt to come back up in the gap, that's rest. Come back up. That's not what happened. Goes inside 60 and down. It also did it again. And I'll show that to you in a second here. So you don't have to be the total ninja. You can kick back and go 60-30s, which gives you a little more time for entries. It goes inside 60 down, then went inside 60 down and tried to counter back up. The good thing about this is that because this is an hourly chart, even the spike down into new lows, which stops them all out here, right here, where the stops go. Here, here, here. See you later, right? So once you go into the new lows here, if the seller doesn't step down, oftentimes it'll come back up. But at this point, you have enough time to defend and make something off of it. And, oftentimes it never comes back like this. So another one that was good was W Day. And that opens and goes down, goes inside on the 30. And then reverses back higher and went a lot higher from there. And even if once it's in motion, even when it goes grinding like this, so here that 30 went from here, inside 30 all the way up to 74, and there's $5 out of that. That's nice. And then starts coming in. But as it was walking up this stuff, there's nice gradual entries because you can see it just gradually moving its way up here in this series. And then you can just look for inside 5-minute bar here because it's coming back off the lows. Inside 5 here was 72 change, went through 73 like $1 in 5 minutes and stuff like that. So there's a lot of nice stuff once you understand how to trade the gaps and when other things are doing nothing, like when the SPY's going inside day. So like I said, I'll have a much more extensive video over the weekend, Smith in the Black on YouTube, all one word. I'll tweet it out at Rob in the Black. It's Christmas season, so hopefully have a goodwill toward peace to everybody and goodwill toward men. Everybody have a wonderful, safe weekend, and we'll be ready for holiday parties come up next week, I guess. All right, I'm Rob Smith in the Black Quant Edge VTF here at T3 Live with this week's Market Wrap-Up.